Welcome back, everyone. So in this assignment, what we're doing is we are simply just going to find the equation of a line if we are given a graph. So all the equations that we're going to be working with are linear equations. So they are all of the form y equals mx plus b, where m is the slope and b is the y-intercept. And the x and y can be a variety of numbers, so we just leave them as x and y. So if we're going to find the equation of a line given a graph, all we need to do is find our slope, or m, and then the y-intercept, b. Now we've done quite a bit of work finding the slope. We haven't called it m yet, but we're just changing the name of it. So slope is equal to m. Okay, so that's the green stuff there. And then the y-intercept is the new thing, and the y-intercept is where our equation crosses the y-axis. Okay, so this is crosses the y-axis. Okay, and the y-axis is the one that goes up and down. Okay, so on these first three, I could just go ahead and put a y on top here to represent that line that I put the y on top of is the y-axis. Okay, so it's really simple to find the y-intercept. All we have to do is look for a point that is on the y-axis. Okay, so if we take a look at this first one, the point that's on the y-axis, well, it's right there, it's 2. So we know that the b is 2. And then to find our slope, all we have to do is remember, take 2 points and start on the left-hand side of the 2 points. And then we go up or down first. In this case, we got to go up, and then we go over or to the right, remember. So the slope is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We go up 5 and over 8. So our slope is 5 over 8. Because remember, the number on top of our slope is what we go up or down, and then the number on the bottom of our slope is what we go to the right. Okay, so then I can write the equation. So I have y equals 5 over 8x plus 2. Okay, so the b, or the y-intercept, is the 2 in the equation, and the m, or the slope, is 5 over 8. Okay, so it's as simple as that. Identify those two things, and we can write an equation. Okay, same thing here, and you'll notice I generally always start with that y-intercept because it's the easiest one to find. So we look at that line that's going up and down through our graph with the numbers next to it, and we identify what number the point is on when we cross that line. Okay, so we have -1, so our b is -1, or our y-intercept is -1. And then in this case, we have a line that's going down, so we know our slope is going to be negative. So if I start to the left, I need to go down first, and then I need to go to the right. So in this case, I went down 9, so that's -9, and I went over 4. So -9 over 4, so my slope is -9 over 4. Okay, so my equation in this case is y equals -9 over 4x minus 1. So I wrote -1 because it's -1. Okay, some people like to write plus -1, and I find that a little bit confusing because you end up with too many symbols, and so we can just write it as -1 instead of plus -1. Okay, all right, let's do another one. Okay, this one has more points to choose from, but again, y-intercept, b is equal to 8. Slope, again, this line's going down, so I can really go anywhere. I'm just going to go over here and show how you can do it where you don't have to start furthest to the left. So I'm going to start on this one, go down. Whoa, I went way too far down. Let's do that again. I'm going to go down and then to the right. So I went down 1, to the right 4. So my slope is -1 over 4. So my equation, y equals -1/4 x plus 8. Okay, let's do another one. Remember, if I'm going too fast, you can always pause the video, go back, look at something again. All right, so here we go. B is 3. Slope, I'm going to come down here to these bottom two instead of messing around where I made that circle. So I'm going to go down again and then to the right. So I go down 5 or negative 5 to the right 1. So my slope is negative 5 over 1. Well, that's the same as negative 5. So this one I'm going to write it a little differently. So instead of writing negative 5 over 1, I'm just going to write the negative 5 because it's a little simpler that way. Negative 5x plus 3. Now, if you put it over 1, that's totally fine. But we don't necessarily need to. There will be a time you'll notice in an upcoming lesson where we really like to have that slope as a fraction. So, but for now, we can use either one. We can use it as a fraction, or we can just leave it as a whole number. Oh boy, lots and lots of dots. I say dots, but they're actually called points. Okay, so here we go, b, negative 7. Now, we've seen this slope before. Little tiny triangle, 1 and 1. So our slope is 1 over 1, which is just 1. Okay, and this is the one from last week where we skipped a bunch of points. So we skipped a bunch of points and we went something like, we could do something like this, 3 over 3. It's still 1 because 3 divided by 3 is 1. If we did the whole thing, it would be a whole bunch. We don't necessarily want to do that. It'd be like 13 over 13 if we went from the furthest 2 points. But we don't want to do that because it's easy to make mistakes when we're doing that, when we have to count all those little lines. So here we go. The equation is y equals, I'm going to write the 1, but we don't have to actually. You could just write an x there instead of the 1, and then it's minus 7. Okay, so you could write it like this, y equals x minus 7. And you could even do it where you have the 1 over 1. So there's really 3 different ways you could write this equation, and all 3 of them are right. Okay, but generally this is the one that you're going to see the most. All right, here we go, last one. Whole bunch of points. Okay, so b is 4. Slope, I went up 2 over 1. So my slope is 2 over 1, or just 2. So my equation is y equals 2x plus 4. All right. Next page, you have a whole bunch that you get to do. And remember, there's red boxes there. So when you write your equation in those red boxes, you're going to have to enter those in Schoology.